Okay, welcome to video number 4. We're really going to get into the real stuff. You've learned how to set up your objects, how to rotate them, all that stuff. Let's make them do some fun stuff. So we have a little story you saw lifted in class yesterday, I think, at this point. And it's a parable, right? So you saw this, I don't even know what it is, this little thingy, this little small green thingy trying to figure something else out. And the process by which he sort of learned how to do it. So how do we learn to write a program? Typically a student is instructed by a teacher, or in your case you're going to learn by video, by book, lots of different ways. The tools we're going to use are the computer. So in Lifted, this was the giant computer. The programming language was knowing which buttons to push, right? The problem in the movie was trying to lift this poor guy out of bed and executing the solution. So hopefully you'll be a little bit more successful than this little fellow was, but if not, it's okay. It's going to be okay. Often we do learn from our mistakes. In fact, some of the best things have been discovered by mistakes, so you need to be okay with making mistakes. It's going to happen, I can promise, and it's fine. Try not to get frustrated because that really doesn't help anything. Instead, get some help. Check your notes. Have conferences. Ask for help from friends. All right, it's really, really important that you don't give up. You try different options. You use all your resources. I want you to promise me. All right, and like we said, check the notes. I would include with that, read the book. Okay, so after that little pep talk, here we go. What is a computer program? It's just a sequence of instructions. What you're trying to do is tell the computer what to do, and as you're going to see in this video, you're going to learn how to tell another human being what exactly you want the computer to do, and you're going to leave little notes. We'll show you about that. So the programs that you're going to be writing, you're going to be either solving a problem, making a simulation, a game, an animation, and really multiple ones of these at the same time. We're going to use statements. Those are what you've been dragging and drop to move Alice, to move the rabbit, to make them talk, for example. So there's 3 different types of statements. Actions to be performed. That's what you've been doing at this point, right? That's what's happened once you've run your program. And then control. You've used that a little bit as well because that determines the order. That's what sequence means, the order in which the actions are performed. And comments, and we're going to talk about that today. So this is an adorable little program. Let's see if I do a better job with the keys today. Here we go. Ready? I'm going to run it for you and I'm going to show you some code. Okay, so it was showing you just once more time. If they're in sequence, that means they're in order, one after the other, right? So jumping jacks and stretching, I guess, and simultaneously happen at the same time. All right, I want to take a look at this code. Oh yeah, he was touching his toes. What you had going on is one card was doing a jumping jack and one was touching toes. And if you were to click on the cards, you would not see those methods as part of the cards. So for example, let's see if I can make that happen. For example, card number 2. If we look at card number 2, these are procedures that someone wrote. These are methods that someone wrote. But these are all the ones that came with the card. And you've been playing with this a little bit. Okay? But these are ones that people wrote. And so I just wanted to show you what it looks like. So the jumping jack, if you look at the method jumping jack, it's jump up, jump back. Okay. Well, jump up looks like this. It looks pretty simple. And jump back is that. And because it says this, and we'll get into this much more, you could use this procedure for either card. All right, the this leaves it a little bit open. So when did it get called? It got called in something called My First Method, and card 2 did the jumping jack, and card 5 did touch toes. Touch toes, if I click on that, is a combination of bending forward and bending backwards. Bending forward is pretty straightforward. It's kind of interesting. You're talking about the spine base and the shoulders, and bend back is just reversing that. So you will learn how to do this. I just wanted to do it as a quick little example that it seems really like an easy program, and really all of those instructions could have been put into My First Method, but it just looks a little bit tidier that way. All right, the other thing I want to show you is comments. So up here, it's a good idea to put your name and the date. This was just somebody, some random person, and also what this is doing. So this program is demonstrating sequential and simultaneous execution of statements using exercising playing cards. How did they do that? They took this little tile here and dragged it up, and you can drag it anywhere. And what that does is that lets you write stuff and the program won't read it. So why would you do that? You're going to do it as to leave a memo for somebody else to follow, and also for yourself. If you write a program and a week later you come back, you might be like, what was my intent? What was I trying to do? What was this method for? And that's how you leave that message. All right, let's get back to the very exciting PowerPoint. Okay, so we talked about the methods panels, and you saw the different methods that were in there, right? Jump up, jump back, etc. They were under something called procedures. And we've talked about built-in methods. These come with all the objects. Every object has its own built-in ones, and then there are ones that you can write. Okay, so these are the built-in. These are the ones that were written. When we say written, we say user-defined because the user created them. All right, we've talked about this. I'm going to skip that. Do in order. This is, and we've played with this a little bit maybe. This was a tile that was at the bottom. You drag it up, and it just makes sure that stuff happens one after the other. It's actually not that important to use do in order because if you don't include it, that's the automatic go-to. The other option is to do together, and this one you have done with Alice and the White Rabbit already, but just to show you, this is what's called a control structure, and if you drag in the do together tile, as you know, and put these into the do together, they will happen, yes, you guessed it, together. All right, comments we've already talked about a little bit. I really recommend that you do this. You start to document when you did it, and what the point was, and you leave messages for yourself, not like, hi, I think you look great today, although you could, but really an explanation of why you wrote what you wrote. And I'm going to start to require it, not yet, but as we get into more complicated programs, I'm going to start to require it. All right, so it's always a good idea, it's very easy to do, and that is it. Hope you enjoyed the video.